What does the president get wrong in his zero-sum theology?
Well, he gets a number of things wrong. First of all, these trade agreements take a long time to negotiate. We actually did renegotiate NAFTA. It was called the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Canada and Mexico were a part of that, but he scrapped it. And he's never said, what is a new and better NAFTA? That's one thing Congress is looking for. The Congress wants to see, well, what are you going to negotiate before we give you permission to go ahead? In addition, I think his macro policies are going to lead to a larger trade deficit, not a smaller one. So if we have a big fiscal stimulus and a big tax cut, and monetary policy continues to tighten, the dollar will go up, and we'll have a bigger trade deficit, not a smaller one, which runs counter to what he wants to do on trade.
David Ricardo was 1815. It's very hard to figure out the mathematics, the geography almost of comparative advantage. If you were to teach David Ricardo to the president in the Oval Office, what would you emphasize?
Well, I'd emphasize basically what you just said, that trade is not a zero-sum game where there's winners and losers, and the trade balance is not the scorecard. Both sides benefit from trade. We benefit from exporting to other countries, but we also benefit from importing from other countries. We get our avocados from Mexico. We get cheaper automobiles in part because part of the production process is done in Mexico. We prosper when Mexico prospers. We're much better off having a rich neighbor to our south rather than a poor neighbor. So trade is a mutually beneficial activity, and it should be something that should be encouraged and not bad-mouthed.
But Doug, we've seen various iterations of the president, right? President Trump seems to understand this better than he did 6 months ago, right? I mean, he's softened his stance. Is that fair?
Oh, he has. And first of all, he hasn't really done much on trade yet. We've had a lot of executive orders, and we've had a lot of trade cases initiated, but no actual moves yet. So it's still very early. We have to yet see what the new agreements will be and what sort of actions he's going to take.
All right, what would you be most concerned about in terms of actions that he could take? I know we've seen a little bit of things bubbling with the steel. Are you actually looking at a possible border tax?
Well, it looks like that's not going to go through Congress in terms of the border adjustment tax. Obviously, a lot of trade people were worried last week when there were the rumors that he was going to sign an executive order pulling us out of NAFTA. And fortunately, some of his aides and other countries intervened, and he pulled back from that. So I think there's this learning process going on. Hopefully, they'll tamp down anticipations of big trade moves early on and see that they're in this for the long haul and do something constructive for the country and for the rest of the world.